19th, 2022. CBS this morning. First of all, I'm watching it in this particular whatever. It's just where my feet happen to be when I see this. Because now that the kids put everything on internet and it streams and there's no longer fighting over like bootleg CDs and like who found out how, I find it incredibly interesting that one of the children of Earth, how the information travels. Like, I remember meeting one really excited, whatever, in one of my, I got brought here, and I'm a little confused how I arrived here, kind of a thing. But I snap awake, and even though I'm disoriented, I'm like, if the animal, when you're watching, like, one of those veterinary shows out on, like, the game farm, when they go down, you collar them, and then they come forward and, like, up, and then they get, like, all groggy, and they're but they still figure out where they are and what tree to go to or whatever. It's that feeling, except you're a human, which makes it really painfully, like, wrong on so many levels, but whatever. And then not knowing, like, getting, like, this dizzy whatever feeling and going, like, wait, no, hold on a second, I'm not really good with math. Like, you're how old? Like, no, I know when I was born, but, like, that got confusing. And, but, like, again, like, storytellers, like, greatest storytellers of all time, but, like, nobody really speaks to me. And the humans that I arrive to stick me in a room. They don't really talk. One disappears and does stuff with the adult world or with other adults, and he's important, and he's the one that they call father. I was like, I arrived to a mom. She's doesn't really like kids. Whatever. I don't know why I was brought into this, but always told to go to your room and just be quiet and figure something out. That's what Cabbage Patch Kid dolls were for, and the little kitchen. So, or the memory game by yourself. Anything like solitaire by yourself was like, whatever, unless my grandfather was around and I could go visit him or Judy came to pick me up and get me out of here. So, whatever in that. But apparently other people are around, like these great storytellers. They get like these really amazing opportunities. They somehow find one another. Then there's the rest of us, or there's me. I don't know how many of me there are. So today they're telling this story about Marcel, Marcel. It's about a shell, one eye, a pair of shoes, and actually they call it googly eye, but I'm leaving that one out because that gets on the whatever cuspid. So, and it says a pair of shoes. And what's interesting is, I know it's going to embarrass the heck. Look to see who's blushing if this gets seen in like any more than a category of one, because that's who knows whatever this could be. But, and easily to like embarrass with a really bad temper and a very long memory. And I didn't do this, but whatever, it's on the television, and I'm just like, someone in National put it out there. I mean, I don't know which one, but, and then they took this Marcel, and then it became like this big thing, and then it had something with a 7 year, and then it did something about a straight something with 60 minutes, and the Leslie woman, it sounds like shoe, and Mon Petit Chouchou, but like, I don't, so it's, it's Leslie Stoltz, I don't know, on 60 Minutes. And then because this Marcel made this whatever, she's now like big with the grandkids, which again I know is a driver, a fundamental driver in certain area. Again, I'm not really like up to date with what moves what in whatever. But the story is about this shell that's looking for its family and not quite sure where its family went. And it's by itself in the solidarity thing, but I'll let the professionals tell the story.
Turns out we're not the only ones who think Leslie Stahl is a great storyteller. David Pogue introduces us to one of her biggest and smallest fans.
There are plenty of big movies this summer. But the highest rated one of all is very, very small.
My name is Marcel, and I'm partially...
The main character is no bigger than a quarter.
I also have shoes and a face.
He has this sort of granite dignity, but he's so tiny.
I used to have a sister.
And I think that there's a lot of humor in watching something be the wrong size.
Comedian, actor, and author Jenny Slate has voiced plenty of animated characters, but she considers Marcel the Shell her finest creation.
Guess what I do for adventure? I hang glide on a Dorito. Guess what I use as a pen?
What?
I use a pen, but it takes the whole family.
Slate had never produced that distinctive voice until one night in 2010. To save money attending a wedding, she was sharing one hotel room with 5 friends.
It was so crowded in there, and I just felt tiny, and all of a sudden I just started saying, like,
It's just like, I can hardly move. I can't move around.
Her boyfriend, filmmaker Dean Fleischer Camp, loved the new little character voice and decided to feature it in a short video.
Do you want to see me talk on the phone?
I knew I wanted to make an animated short and sort of something I hadn't experimented with before.
Hello, this is me.
he went to a toy store and the art supply store and got a bunch of googly eyes, got the shells.
The 3-minute short was a huge hit online.
One time I nibbled on a piece of cheese and my cholesterol went up to 900.
In the next few years, the couple made 2 more Marcel videos, racking up 48 million views and counting, published 2 Marcel books, and got married.
Ooh, baby, baby. Mwah, 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 mwah. Ooh, baby. I've seen people kiss on television.
Inevitably, Hollywood came a-calling, with big Hollywood ideas.
Someone even recommended that we pair him with Ryan Reynolds and they fight crime together, which it's not a movie I wouldn't see.
Finally, Camp and Slate found backers who'd give them full control. But to fill 90 minutes, they'd have to expand Marcel's emotional range, fill in his backstory, and introduce new characters. Did anyone ever say, whoa, that's tugging what made the short special too much?
I think that part of that was in always gut checking ourselves against the original and making sure, does it still have that sort of, electricity that was so great about the shorts?
Now here's my question. There's this thing, Orthodox, which Microsoft, living on the edge and internet exploring and all, made it like the spoken document, DOX. They made that popular in a .com and .dox culture, or so I've heard. Then there's this, in their section of The Office, and then there's this word called electoral, but it ends in the word oral, like orate in spoken word. Again, storytellers.
One of those new characters is Marcel's grandmother, played by Isabella Rossellini. In the movie, they watch 60 Minutes together every Sunday night.
We love it. We just call it the show. That's how much we love it.
Leslie.
Who's Leslie?
Leslie Shaw.
She likes Leslie Stahl.
I'm Leslie
She
Stahl.
blows cases wide open.
This movie has elevated me in the eyes of my grandchildren.
Nana, make the noise.
They've seen me on 60 Minutes and I'm nothing. But with Marcel, this is huge in my family.
Fortunately for the filmmakers, the real Leslie Stahl agreed to take the role.
They wanted me to play it 100% straight. So they hired a 60 Minutes crew, a 60 Minutes producer came along to produce the segment. And I think it does look like a 60 Minutes story when you see it.
Now, the front face, at face value, is easy in this hypothetical, theoretical, like actual whatever, to know the they, They. In the rest of stuff, there's no faces, there's no spotlight, there's no highlight, there's no any context, there's no construction build as to where the storyline was thought of, who to chase it back to. They don't publicize any of that. I hear also there used to be something called agency and publicists. No idea how to find anything like that. Is that like those headhunters that used to exist that no longer are found anywhere? Like there used to be hiring agencies that you would go to, say that you needed a job, and then what were you good at? They took all of that away in New York. And they moved everything onto this internet and ruined the entire opportunity of getting face-to-face time, an appointment, and like some actual results that are then chaseable. Because now everything's online and you have to trust a statistician, which I don't.
Marcel, a 1-inch tall shell, reminds us of the true value of community.
Does it make you inclined to look fondly upon the next movie proposal that comes your way?
Well, let me just say this. I'm available. Here I am, a movie star.
Dean Fleischer Camp is in the movie too, as the off-screen voice of the filmmaker. Well, mostly off-screen.
So, do you have any plans tonight?
No. I'm playing a version of myself that doesn't exist anymore.
Give me that.
And I'm glad I'm not that person anymore.
The movie wound up taking 7 years to make,
Hello?
because the filmmakers had to make it 4 times. First, as a complete audio soundtrack.
They're making me blush.
Oh, and there's going through that. I'm not that person anymore. Yeah, here's the thing. I really wasn't that person back then. It's just easier to smile and wave and just be quiet throughout the entire thing than it is to actually have to voice just how disgusted you are waking up every day and looking at this other person and yourself in like, I didn't choose this. This is a forcible action that got thrust upon me that I didn't ask for, I didn't choose, and I would have never written or allowed my life story to go this way if better options were on the table or discussed at any point.
The second version added storyboards.
They're making me blush.
For the third pass, they filmed the empty backgrounds for the entire movie without Marcel.
They're making me blush.
Finally, the team animated the tiny Marcel puppet, 1 frame at a time.
Now this is a cross-culture thing. This little tomato, that's where my mom had like 1 sewing bin, although she doesn't really sew. And she had that tomato thing with pins stuck in it, and as a kid, I knew not to touch it.
And added him into the backgrounds.
They're making me blush.
In the end, the marriage of Marcel's creators didn't survive. But their collaboration opens in theaters on Friday, a movie about a bald, armless, one-eyed shell on a quest to find his family.
Do you think they could be out there?
If that movie works at all, is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, of course that's a huge risk to take.
And yet,
I love it when people comment on it and they say, I can't believe I was bawling my eyes out at this little show with googly eyes.
It makes people feel like I'm a little guy, like feelings, you know, wanting to be loved for your own dear smallness in this gigantic, weird, cosmic scheme that we're in.
The only reason why I mentioned it is because it just goes back to being the little guy in this larger whatever, and it's like, you know that these things do exist. They're mentioned on this illuminated machine. You know you have real world physical experience with some pieces of this gigantic ruzel or puzzle. But it's just a matter of, again, why are the dots not connecting in the right order or in the right configuration? There's more issues with other things in things I've been able to define now, but I mean, I don't know why it has to get pulled into this direction. It's not like there's any quiet whatever to speak about or speak with. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 1361.